And I would like to start with Enrico. Enrico, CEO currently of Universal Robots, but has a career in management of businesses and industrial settings, and he has been in management of industrial activities since he started almost his career. And he is with Universal Robots since 2008, now as a partner and the CEO. Enrico, it's to you. Thanks.
Thank you. Turn this right. Well, good morning, ladies, gentlemen. 20 minutes is limited time to give you information about what is happening with collaborative robots and how they can change the world for both SMEs and large companies. So what I hope that you will take away from this today is basically a teaser and inspiration to go and look for additional information. Okay, I'm just going to get the technique to work here. It says next. Next should give me next, shouldn't it? Yeah, the green one. Yeah. Nope. Where? Ah, sorry. I thought it was just laying here. Thank you. Well, even though being from a technology company doesn't mean that we can work technology, does it? So, sorry about that. And now I got too far. That's where we start. Perfect. I think when we talk about collaborative robots or robots working with humans, there are basically two ways to look at it. There is, and I think it should be defined by how much shared workspace is there between the robots and the humans. You can say you have applications where you have direct collaboration with humans that require one kind of installation, one kind of, say, safety precautions, and then you have applications where basically the robots don't need to be fenced, but where you have no direct sort of collaboration. You have people being able to walk into the area where the robot is working, but there is no direct interaction. And I think that's it's important to make this this distinction. A lot of people talking about collaborative robots only think about the direct collaboration with humans, whereas we would like also to see just the ability to work unfenced. Having said that, I would also say that no matter how you set up the robots, whether it's for just without fencing or for actual collaborative applications, you need to remember to do your risk analysis. That's very, very important. So no matter what kind of robot you install, always remember the risk analysis, because that's really what, at the end, risk assessment that tells you what you are allowed to do. Today, this is governed, you can say, by two standards. Presently, the ISO 10218, which is still in operation, and then there's the development of a new standard, TS 15066, which is in progress, which is presently being developed by a number of countries. It's not ready yet. There are still many discussions ongoing to the different values, safety values, pain values, injury values, and so on. And there's also still no actual test methods developed, so I think it will be some time before we actually see this standard implemented in the market. Point the right way here. If we talk about the collaborative robots and what they can actually do, if we look at it from a commercial point of view, then it's a question of assisting companies doing their cost reduction. It's a question of making sure that we can handle increased consistency in the manufacturing process. It's a question of ensuring increased quality in the manufacturing process. And basically, having this type of technology, this kind of robots, will allow you a much faster integration into your manufacturing plants. They will take off less space because of the lower requirements to safety fencing. And this will actually all give you a very low cost, and it will also give you reduced cost per unit, so to speak. So low payback is definitely, or short payback periods are definitely the essence here, and what is important for the SMEs, for you, and what is also important for the larger companies. It's a question of reducing your inventory by having reducing overall inventory by having the manufacturing done locally, and thereby also a question of reducing overall working capital. So I think there are a lot of things that the collaborative, that the small robots can do to make manufacturing companies more competitive. If we look at it from a technical point of view, which I guess there is a tent that we do, then as I said, we're talking here about small robots that require little space in the factories. We are talking about robots that are easy to install. We are very importantly talking about robots that are very easy to program. Not only easy to program when you do the initial installation, but also very easy to reprogram when you have to sort of move from one batch to another, or move the robots from one product to another. Safety is a big issue, as I mentioned, and again I would say, and I cannot say this often enough, please remember the risk assessment. That is extremely important. Flexibility, I think, is important. We are all living in companies where we need to be more and more flexible, where our customers are pushing us every day, not only to cut cost, but also to be able to run small batches, to be able to meet their demand, so they can run sort of in-time manufacturing, just-in-time manufacturing. And then, of course, we need to put in the robots so that we can take away the repetitive work and basically continue to do what robots have always done, and that is eliminating all the dull, dirty, and dangerous work. And I think we will continue to do that, and opening up for even more applications with this type of robot. All in all, key value driver for all of you sitting here running companies is a total low cost of ownership, total low investment. Some examples of, so just to give you some inspiration as to how the robots, collaborative robots can be used. This is not an SME though, it's BMW in the US having collaborative robots installed on the line, directly working with human colleagues. And these are actually not considered robots anymore. They all have names, and when you walk through the factory, people, they don't refer to, have you seen our robots? Have you seen Bob, or have you seen Henry, or have you seen someone else down the line? So people are actually looking at the robots as co-workers, and I think this is something quite important, because that moves people's perception away from robots being large, dangerous machines over to a perception that robots are actually easy to use tools that you can take the same way as you take your drilling machine or anything else. And I think this opens a huge market potential when we actually manage to change this perception. it's sorry. We are focusing on SMEs here, so it's just to give you another example that it's not only large companies who are able to use the new type of robots, the new collaborative robots. It's definitely also smaller companies. Again, you can see here a big machine tool shop having a number of collaborative robots installed, and everything is handled, installed, programmed by the actual operators. So you don't need to call in any experts, any expensive outside engineers in order to program or reprogram the robots. So you can say if you are a system integrator, you can sell less hours having the new technology here. On the other hand, it will allow you to do a lot more projects every year. So I think overall everybody will actually benefit from this. Said it's a market that is growing very, very fast right now. We can see that in Europe, we can see that in Asia, we can see it in North America, and now also in Latin America. It's a market where there are very few players at this time. I would say if you go out and you want to buy something today, there's probably only a couple of products that you can actually order and have delivered now. But it's also a market, a technology that opens up to a lot more applications than what we have seen before. And actually when I don't know the numbers of KUKA, of course, but if I look at our own numbers, then I can see that about 20% of the robots that we ship to the market, that they are actually somehow competing with traditional industrial robots, whereas 80% of what we sell is actually going into applications that cannot or would not be robotized with traditional robots. And I think that shows how much potential there is in this market. And even though that we are growing fast now, it's still like just scratching the surface of a huge potential. This being said, a growing market, a lot of potential. I'm sure that there will be a lot more players in the market in the years to come, and if we meet again in a couple of years, you will probably have a lot more options to choose from when you go out and order your collaborative robots. Just a few numbers showing you basically the development of the number of installed robots globally the last couple of years, and also what the projections are for the coming years. As you can see, very, very fast growing in Asia, mainly driven by China, but also a good number of increased market growth in Thailand and a few other places. Limited increase in Europe, some increase in North America, but also relatively limited compared to what is going on in Asia. And personally, I think it's quite interesting to see that the countries that we usually consider also to be very competitive when it comes to salary levels, that they are actually also the countries that are now investing the most in robot automation in order to make sure that they also stay competitive in the future and are able to also deliver not only, say, inexpensive products, but also moving into high-end product categories. I think for me this is interesting, and I will do my business in Europe or in Asia also, so it's not so important. But I think it should be like a wake-up call for European manufacturing, that things are happening out in the world, and if you don't sort of jump on the train now, then things will not look good in Europe a few years down the road, as I see it. But as I said, this is only a small part of the story, because what you see here, the numbers you see here, are basically, or are only the traditional robot market. So if we say that 20% of our robots, they go into the traditional market and 80% is new market, and you say that this is the same for the market potential in general, then I think then you can multiply these figures by 5, and then you will see that there's market potential for somewhere around 1 million robots a year within the next couple of years. And then I would actually say then we need more suppliers, because I think both KUKA and ourselves, we would be pretty stressed if we need to supply 1 million robots every year from 2016. I mean, we just moved into new facilities. They're big, but they're not that big. And so again, this technology was developed for small, medium-sized companies. And I think it's important to notice that somewhere up around 90% of all manufacturing companies in the world could actually be classified as small and medium-sized. So there's a lot of companies out there who can benefit from this technology. And overall, I would say that anyone with 5+ employees will be able to benefit. There's a lot of job creation in this. There's a lot of growth opportunities in this. And as I said again, if we move the manufacturing or install all the robots, then actually we take the salary out of the equation, and all countries will basically be able to manufacture at similar cost. That will allow us to have manufacturing done where the products are actually needed. And if we take away that inventory that is spent and all the products that are presently being shipped around the world, then I actually think that this kind of technology will also do good for the world, because it will free up a lot of working capital that can then be used for other activities. Demand is high, and I don't see that it will change in the near future. So a little inspiration, a few ideas, numbers that I wanted to share with you. If there are any questions, I will naturally be available afterwards. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Enrico. That was a very good presentation. Many thanks on the perspectives in the sector and the growth of the market, and where the market lies. So it's a growth situation, and everyone is interested in increasing its productivity, and robots can contribute to that a lot, we know. Just say that we had the view of Universal Robots, new, I would say, with a sort of outsider in this field, successful today. And we'll hear what KUKA and Kamal will tell us about it.